everything I said, but I could repeat again.
No, I did not hear.
Okay,
Yes,
I'll take it again. I'm so sorry. I started with societal pressure is pressure from everyone around us. I won't limit it to just our society we live in, but the world in general. Pressure from social media has a huge impact. Don't get me wrong, both positive and negative pressure. Regardless of impact it creates in you and I, the decision lies in our hands, good or bad. This is where self-discipline comes in. Again, same goes for peer pressure, which sometimes starts from our early days, from classmates and age mates, from our environment. These pressure comes subtly, like harmless, but creeps in gradually and creates a mountain to soar or an ocean to drown. Now, in my growing up, I've always had peer pressure along the line, and it still comes on because as an adult doesn't mean that you don't face peer pressure. But we are trying to tell our children that most of them, when we talk about peer pressure, they feel that, or if they can overcome that, they're okay. But we have to make them understand that there's something called societal pressure that we all face every day. Now, like I said, it takes discipline to be able to stand your ground and make a right decision. Now, some of these pressures come in positively and sometimes negatively. Like, for instance, we're having this Zoom meeting and social media has made it possible. So if not that it has influenced us positively, like I could say the pressure was on us during the period of the lockdown. So during the lockdown, there was not much communication. So Zoom was used by everyone. That's why we are on Zoom now. And that's why I have the opportunity to talk to you wherever you are. So this pressure, societal pressure, can come in from positive and from negative. So let's talk about it. How has it been for you dealing with societal pressure or still with peer pressure?
Well, that's for the introduction. Going to peer pressure, the perception really is that it is negative. I'm glad that you said it's both positive and negative. This pressure, all manner of pressure to people.
So when they come, we can identify the positive and the negative one.
Yeah.
We can identify them. Like during the lockdown, during the COVID lockdown, I was frustrated. I was getting anxious. How would I walk? Because I was used to training teachers on etiquette, going to companies, train the staff on good customer relationship. And I was like, how am I going to function? And that was when a friend of mine said, why don't you use Zoom? I was like, Zoom? But the person kept on putting that pressure on me, try it. You don't know how it works. And I tried it one day and wow, it worked very well. So that part of it was a positive pressure and it worked well for me. That's why we are having this meeting now. Okay. Then another instance was when I started doing videos of my topics. A friend also reached out to me and said, Pat, why don't you go on YouTube, get your own channel and reaching out to more people? And I was like, really? So that was when I created my YouTube channel and I started doing videos, my podcast. A friend of mine pressured me and it worked well. So as an adult, I have learned to make the right choices. But still, we face societal pressure. Even with all that, societal pressure is a different ball game altogether. I can remember very well when I spent a longer time in the university than I should have, and everybody around were like, how come you've not graduated? You are still going to school. That pressure was for me. They want to see, they want to see that I've graduated. I finally graduated. What's the next thing? You have not gotten a job yet. What are you still doing waiting to get a job? That was another pressure. I finally got a job. The next pressure that came was, when are you going to get married? So this pressure of society never just ends. But I think I'm going to share this one. It's going to make you laugh. That part of why you don't marry, they said to me, you're waiting for Mr. Good looking, rich, and all that. Why don't you just look for someone that is calm-headed, God-fearing, even though he doesn't have a job? They kept on stressing, and I allowed that pressure get to me. That was the last pressure I got to me, and I regretted making that decision.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to prove to everybody that, oh yeah, I can get married.
Yes,
and I
exactly.
got married with their own qualities, not what I wanted anymore. The values I had in a man to spend my life with was not there anymore. I lost it because I listened to the pressure of, when are you getting married? Oh, you are selecting from here and there. And I ended up making the wrong decision. So this societal pressure is huge. If we don't have self-discipline, it will break us. So how are we telling our children? How are we dealing with it? Even till now, it's still there. Even till now, it's still there. There's a pressure on, where are your kids now? What are you doing? As a mother, what do you think? Things you already know, this is what I want. Society is telling you that you shouldn't be like that. And so most marriages have crashed today because of societal pressure.
Yeah.
Most marriages have crashed. Relationships are not working anymore because they let societal pressure get to them. So let's talk about it. How do we deal with it? How do you deal with it? Let's talk about all that. How do we advise those out there to deal with societal pressure and stand firm and be disciplined?
I mean, if we're talking about children, yes, it's a case of you actually lecturing them and making sure that all they see on the internet isn't true, because there's a different life in the internet as well as off internet. So you just have to make that, mandate to actually lecture them on every single thing. My mom lectured me on that, myself and my siblings, hence the reason why I'm like that. I'm not moved by, vanity and all those things. So I want to be like this. If you tell me you bought a car for yourself or you bought a house, good luck. I would, I would kind of like be happy for you. But will I now go home and sit down and start thinking, oh, I'm gonna get the same house, I'm gonna do that? I'm not gonna do that, because again, I'll throw in Christianity. Everybody's timing is different. Your destiny is different from my destiny. So I would not be deceived by probably what's on the internet to now say I want to use that to now map out myself, or probably friends are telling me X, Y, and Z. No. But going back to the children, I would say it's best for you to just keep lecturing them, let them be themselves, and share even good news, share with them, bad news, share with them. Like my kids now, I make sure they tune into what's happening in the news and understand what the society is like and all of that. That's what I do. So I don't know if you have any more suggestions, but that's what I do for my kids. And they are in their, some of them are in their late 20s, some of them are in their early 20s, but they've grown up now to understand that, they are not following what is happening out there. They are just being themselves and getting what they want for themselves, not because their friend is telling them what to do or because they want to impress someone.
Thank you so much, Kadentine. So what do you have to add to this, to all we have said? And what are your experiences? What have you experienced? Yeah.
Pressure. So we were growing up, and the pressures I have then is different from the pressures I have now. I have a better understanding, deeper, and a broader understanding of what pressure is. For instance, I usually have this approach of analytics, and I ask, what is it? What are the particulars, the detailed parts? Then, and I also ask, what is the purpose? And I also ask, how? What is the process? So if you get a view of all that helps you in making decisions, whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. Because pressure, to me, like you have said, is heavy. Pressure is city. So it's like you are putting up a resistance as to what you want to do or what you don't want to do. That resistance, you have to interrogate it, whether resistance is legitimate or not. So once you interrogate and you it's okay, then you take a dive. As if you walk out, say yes. Ultimately, you say incision. The pressure that is dangerous is the one you don't really want to know. You don't really know what it is. You don't interrogate, and you go, and just dive. When eventually doesn't work, you now blame, other people, on the decision you have taken. To me, pressure, is okay. It will always be there. That's that pushes us to do that we do not want to do. So the choice is just to take a better look at it. No. For instance, like I was saying earlier on, I said we all had all manner of pressure. For example, you talk of marriage. When marriage gets, Pius got married, before, us. That was a lot of pressure on us, So all the people that hadn't getting married then, that begin to speak and all. But the pressure, was it healthy? Yes. So, but that does not mean that you have to go and, take a girl or take somebody that you are not supposed to get married to. So pressure is good. I think how you deal with pressure, levels of criteria which you look at to be what the children they are smarter than we were. They ask all manner of questions. They want to know. You need to tell them. They want to go and Google. Google and find out what it is. So it's to guide them. You just tell the child, don't do this. That's not. You must give them all the details, why they do it, all the consequences. What they start to benefit, from doing it, and what they also start to suffer in the event that something goes wrong. We have to talk. How do we deal with pressure? Because they will always be there. So once we know how to deal with pressure, we know what to do and what not to do. I hope you heard me this time.
Yes,
Hello?
I heard you. I heard you loud and clear. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
These days, our kids are so curious. And our curiosity, it's you cannot overrate our curiosity. Everybody wants to find out, if I do this, what really happens. Like we've been talking more about, like Kadentan just said, there are actually positive peer pressure or societal pressure that can make us a better version of ourselves. Now, I'd like to ask a question. We all grew up with close friends who we still keep to today. Now, some of these close friends have a habit of always being in the wrong setting. And these are people we've grown to know over the years. How do you deal with them when they're always around you and you know that they refuse to change to follow the values that you now have as an adult? Because the more they come around you, there's this because that's why most men, when their wives' friends come and they know that this friend is not, they're not happy about it. So also for women, when we see our husbands' friends come, that we know they are bad influence. So how do we deal with this? Do we cut off from the friends, or do we help them come out of that pressure they have drowned themselves in? What is your take on that, please?
I mean, I think I wouldn't use the word cut off from them, because you never know. Maybe you are the one that could, help them change. I think it's just kind of like you said, if you've known these people for a very, very long time and you are in a space where you can easily speak to them, for them to listen without being defensive, then you can speak to them about it. But when you cut off from them, it's kind of like you're leading them, you're just leaving them to feel like, you go, I really don't care what happens to you. But if you love them, like you have just claimed, I would say speaking to them would help, in as much as they might not agree. But when they are actually in their own space, they might keep reflecting and thinking of what you have said. That's what I would say.
Okay, Kajentine, please, I want you to address something on relationships. Now, relationships, most times, one of the partner has a huge pressure on the other one and comes in negative. And how do you deal with that? How do you think we should deal with that? Because you and I have seen friends who have been married to the wrong kind of people that have totally taken them off course. Now, I want you to advise relationships and those marriages that their spouses are the opposite of what they believe that is right.
Okay. Yeah. One thing I always say is that I only have control over myself. I don't have control over the other person. You can only influence the other person. And your extent of influence, determines how much person you like you, how much you respect you. So, guy married to a wife and he's keeping some friend that you don't have. You can talk about it. You can do, all of that. Ultimately, the decision is ours. So you also set boundaries, and when it's time to talk about that, when you shut up or you cut all the discussion, you are not interested. So once you know that you respect your body, that about that person is when they're not going to do that. Except, of course, you don't want the marriage altogether. In that case, you don't want the marriage and therefore the things that you don't have to do with that person. As long as you're in marriage, you have to deal with all of that. So sometimes dealing with people like developing of a level of tolerance and give us on understanding about about their life. So for me, it's certainly not the answer. The attempt to cut off is when you don't have the power. That's when you actually cut off. So the time you can also reflect on, you have an introspection of what it is. Interrogate the whole thing and build yourself up, not to get angry, not to get irritated, and show more understanding. And as much as possible, talk about it to the other person. Because like I said, the decision is not yours. The decision is ours. So knowing that, there's an essence to it. So you deal with on why you deal with us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Well, societal pressure is it's a huge topic to cover in an hour or two, because it's really affecting people mentally. 1 minute we hear someone we grew up with or we know just passed on. All these are pressure that they don't talk about. I've been under pressure for a long time now. How I deal with it is just I just take a break sometimes. I shut down, I take a break. Then I encourage myself. But there are some people who do not have that strength to keep up with pressure. I cannot start atomizing all the things that have put me under pressure, and I don't believe how I have survived it. But somehow I just keep on going. Now it's now worrisome because our generation is going gradually, and peer pressure is taking them out, wiping them out. That is why I thought we discuss this for others to learn from it. That how do I deal with this kind of pressure? Well, for me, I've reduced my circle. I know a lot of people from primary school, secondary school, university, the environment I grew up, but I've reduced my circle to a tiny circle that you could say I have just 2 or 3 people that I keep in touch with regularly that have influenced me positively. Because that way people just feel, oh, when you don't belong, when you don't do things that they want you to do, then you are not worth being their friend. I don't let that get to me. I used to do that. I used to want to be everybody's friend. I used to want to be going with the happening things. But now I've realized that just having one, we talk, we plan, we strategize. It helps my mental state stable. Now, many cannot do this. Many are not even thinking of a solution to handle peer pressure. So this is my own strategy. What is yours, Robo? What is yours, Cajentine? Because we have to tell people how to cope with pressure. It's not easy. It's taking people out. It's killing the society. It's killing our children. It's destroying marriages. It's destroying spouses, relationships. Christianity has gone a different level altogether. People are running from one religion to another because they are searching for an answer, when all the answer lies in them. Now, this religious pressure just keeps pushing people to, I must do this, because they are so in a hurry to get an answer, to leave this position where they find themselves. But life is a stage. People fail to understand that a stage will definitely start and it will end. But they want to end it themselves. They feel they have the rights, they have everything. So how do we advise these youths, those adults out there, our children, our classmates, our spouses? How do we talk to them to deal with their own pressure?
I mean, you've said it you just not too long ago, by obviously, reducing those type of friends who would lead you under pressure to do what you do not want to do. So limiting friends to a very, very small circle is very, very key. Then I will now take you back to what's it called? The Christendom issue of, pastors will tell you, if you give this, expect a 24 hours miracle and stuff like that. I was in a church for 18 years and those were their doctrines. But I literally had to find God for myself. In as much as I was going to the church, I had to read the Bible myself. And the things I was finding out in the Bible were not the same things that they were preaching. A lot of people would even pledge their salary because they believe in 24 hours miracle. Some people would even, put their houses down as collateral. I'm talking about London. I don't know elsewhere because I have seen it. Hence the reason why I'm talking about it. And it's just like, what is going on here? I literally had to take myself out of that church. Nobody asked me to leave. I had to leave. And then they will create fear that if you leave, something would happen. I literally had to study the Bible myself to understand that there's nothing like that. So that's how I dealt with mine, because there was a lot of peer pressure in church, the church I was going. It was a lot. So I studied the Bible myself and I reduced my circle, and that's been helping me. And that's what I've impacted in my kids as well. They have very small circle. They don't have lots of friends like that. They all went to uni. They limited their friends. So it's just something we have to keep doing.
Yeah, same thing too. So Kayenta, what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, I think we shouldn't confuse with mental health. In our environment, mental health is what people are not even aware of. You have to deal with it, and it must be distinct from pressure that we are talking about. And of course, as we grow, right? It's people that used to see regularly, by virtue of your schedule, by virtue of what you do, they begin to thin out. It's not because you don't want them. Let me give you an example. While we're having this meeting, somebody was, in my office. Normally, when I close on a Friday like this, that and all that. Okay? And I told him I'm having a meeting. And he had to leave. If I have meeting, if it comes next time, and he knows I have meeting, something tells him that, oh, I'm not as there. Right.
Thank you so much, Cajentine. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ijele. I'd like to round up saying that we all are conversant with what integrity is. The integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching, and being true to yourself. Having self-discipline will help us make the right choice in life. No matter the pressure, self-discipline is how would I put this? It's a drug itself. When you use regularly, will be able to withstand any pressure. And that has helped me and so many people out there, because life is not easy. And to make decisions as we progress in life, there are some decisions we have to make under pressure. But once you have the right values, once you understand what integrity is, yes, making the right decision can be painful at a certain time, but it turns out well if we are patient enough to wait for every season that comes and goes. Because there's a process in life. Nobody can jump the process. The process must take its course for us to get to our destination. So I think our world today, they are too much in a hurry to want to get to their destination without going through the process. And going through the process needs discipline, patience, tolerance, and resilience. Not giving up. Keep on going. Keep on trying different things. You try this, it doesn't work. You try the next thing. Because sometimes we give up because we let the pressure sink in. But when we are resilient, we just keep on going and going and going and not stop until we succeed. And that's the way I have chosen to live my life. I cannot meet up to the pressure or the expectations of the world. I cannot live my life because of the expectations of what everybody expects me to be or what they want to see in me. I will always only take one day at a time, and I have my own destination. I have my own values and what I've set for myself, and that's how I'm going to follow my life. So for anyone listening out there, take one day at a time, learn to follow the process, be patient, and things will work out for you. So I'd like to thank everybody who joined in today. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you. And I hope our children turn out well, even when they face societal and peer pressure.
All right, Pat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. God bless you, and have a lovely night.
And you too. Bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you.